Hey guys, welcome to my monthly market report. My name is Robert Carroll, and I look forward to spending the next few minutes with you to talk about what's exactly happening in the U.S. residential real estate market. So I'm just going to hop right in. I want to start by sharing this graphic with you of the market year over year and some of the key changes. Let's talk about it. A lot of noise, if you will, about a lot of different things in real estate right now. But if you look at the snapshot of year over year metrics, we can actually see that showings are up 49.5% year over year. A lot of people are getting out there and wanting to look at homes across the country. I mean, if you see purchase applications are up 39%. So we're actually in an interesting period right now where we're going to start to seeing some of these metrics shoot up year over year because, this is measuring the weeks when we first started the lockdown last year. So seeing significantly more purchase applications because nobody was applying or even leaving their house for that matter. If you look at pending deals, this is actually measuring February. Those down just slightly, but existing home sales and new home sales are both up, knocking at the door of almost 10%. What was the issue, right? The issue is in inventory. We all know across the country it's something that continues to plague us as an industry. But overall, if we look at some of the other metrics year over year, a very strong market as we head into the spring right now here in April. The other big thing that we're seeing going on in real estate is we're starting to see a rise in interest rates. Right now, the average interest rate as recorded by Freddie Mac is at 3.18%. If you want to put that in perspective, we saw it towards the end of the year dipping down into the middle twos. This puts us back somewhere around June of last year where we saw this rate environment start to slide down into the twos. Historically low rates, historically. At least 16 times last year we saw a new low in the average 30-year fixed, and it's starting to come back up and really seeing the return of those rates creeping a little bit higher as the economy improves across the country. The reality is, and I think George Ratu sums it up when he says, home sellers and home buyers have gotten really used to extremely low rates. Rates even in the 3s to the 3.4 range, he says here, will remain extremely affordable by historic standards. With everything going on between low interest rates and folks just running in to buy homes, it's caused an inventory challenge across the country. This right here, it's a snapshot of the new listings coming into the market as compared to the total listings in the country. Right now, across the country, on average, we're down about 52% year over year in the number of homes that are available on the market for those of people who want to buy them. The good thing is we're starting to see listings come to the market, and we certainly want to see that continue to grow as we move into the strong spring market. And more people are putting their homes on the market right now, but there still is a deficit across the country. I wanted to share this with you guys from the Wall Street Journal. They actually came out and said this. The residential real estate market is on its biggest tear since 2006, just before the housing bubble burst and set off a global recession. Yet in nearly every meaningful way, today's market is the inverse of that previous boom. In the mid-2000s, loose mortgage lending standards enabled borrowers with poor credit histories to purchase homes beyond their means, and sometimes with mortgages that require a low down payment in the early years of the loan. And they go on to talk about how that froze up the credit markets across the country. And what do we know? We know that today's lending standards have changed. We know that in order to go and obtain financing for a home loan, you actually have to qualify first and demonstrate your ability to repay. It's very different, guys. No doubt the market that we're in is showing tremendous demands for home across the country. And to stay on the topic of demand, the National Association of Realtors came out and said this. With demand for homes outpacing new listings, buyer competition continues to intensify. On the average, there were 4 offers per home sold of a closed home in February, and that's according to the National Association of Realtors' latest February Realtor Confidence Index report, which is a monthly survey of realtors about their transactions. A year ago, there were 2 to 3 buyers for every home sold. The intense competition has led to double-digit price growth in properties selling in record time. To get back to a healthy supply equivalent of 6 months of monthly demand, an additional 2.7 million homes should be on the market for sale. No doubt we're seeing a surge of folks that want to buy right now. A deficit in the number of homes on the market, 2.7 million homes would need to make up that deficit. It's a lot of homes, guys. We need more homes on the market right now. If we look at this graphically, 4.1 offers in February are dramatically higher than what it's been the last several years, which are causing, quote unquote bidding wars. And to be quite frankly, they're just driving the prices of the homes up. I think it starts to come down to the question that many of you are probably asking. I mean, is this like the last time? I mean, maybe they don't say, I understand why it's not like 2008, but it's starting to feel like 2006. I mean, this is a market that's moving fast, and I just want to make sure that I'm making the right decisions. And, to be quite frankly, I got some concerns about. So let's break down the comparison of the two markets. Maybe the time leading up to 2006 to the time leading up to today. First, if we look at annual home price appreciation, I mean, no doubt we've seen home price appreciation be significant. In the last year, 2020, according to CoreLogic, that's 9.2% appreciation. But if we start to compare the years surrounding the lead up to 2006 to the lead up of today, back then the annual appreciation was over 10%. And that's just the average between 2002 and 2005. And today, between 2017 and 2019, the average is 6.3% in annual appreciation. It's a big difference there. I mean, certainly we're seeing appreciation based on the lack of supply, and I'm going to talk about supply in just a moment. I mean, the question is, there are people out there and the demand is strong. What does that mean for those that are out there buying homes right now? This graphic here shows default risk in the mortgage markets. It's a very good visual to talk about, whereas, lending standards are today as compared to back then. This yellow line, the reasonable, or what I'm going to call the reasonable lending standard there, a little bit of product risk, a lot of borrower risk back then. And if you look at the graphic there around 2005, 2006, whereas today the product risk has been completely eliminated from our business. The loan products that were in the market back then just aren't around today. Borrower risk has been severely cut back as to where it was back then as well. To put it quite frankly, it's just harder to qualify for a home loan as it was back then. So what that means is when we look at demand, we can say back then demand was mostly inflated, as where today the demand is real, measured by those in their ability to qualify for a home loan. Going back, just another interesting comparison, single-family inventory was rising in 04, 05, 06, and 07, and the prices were going up, whereas today inventory has been going down and the prices have been going up. So when we look at economics, the amount of any item for sale as it goes down, it's just going to drive the price higher. So we're dealing with the dynamics in the market back then, as the number of items in the market were rising, homes and the prices were also rising. Just very much define what we would say would be, economic fundamentals in the real estate market. Whereas today we could say, the real reason for the price growth has been in large parts due to real reasons, low interest rates, the pandemic, and just the lack of homes in the market. And it just starts to make sense there. And I'm just going to wrap this up by saying I do appreciate you guys, hanging out with me, spending this time. A lot of what I've been talking about has been dealing with the national real estate economy. If you have any questions about your local real estate economy, definitely feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk to you, have a great conversation. Definitely shoot me a message or a comment down below, guys.